So what's going on today in the market? Hello guys, great to see you guys on live. So it's great to be back. I took a little vacation. Sorry I missed you guys last week. It was fun though, down in Roatan, Honduras. Weather was about 90 degrees every day. Maybe a little cold when it got down to 82. But I heard you guys here in the States really ran into some weather, especially in the Chicagoland area. Over a foot of snow. That's kind of crazy. I was supposed to be in Dallas with our bank on Monday and Tuesday, and that just didn't work out. So I also got hit with a monsoon in Roatan. I was supposed to be flying out on Saturday. That didn't work. They got 22 inches of rain in 24 hours. So I got to see mudslides. I got to drive around the whole island. I got a tour. I had to get a hotel room. I was on a liveaboard going scuba diving. So I did 25 dives in a week. It was a lot of fun, saw a lot of cool things with some great people, 15 people from around the world. And it was just great being with them and taking some time out to really just get back into just appreciation and joy. So that was really cool. So what's happening today? I mean, I come back, it seemed like the world was ending up here. I know transportation's been going crazy. Our volume has skyrocketed. Prices have really shot up. We tried not raising our rates to our customers at all because of that, but there's only so far you can go, and we had to raise our rates on some of our lanes. So it's kind of crazy out here in the world, but our team took care of things. We had 9 new hires in our hiring class, which is really nice. They're coming out. And I think out of that, we have 3 new managers, which is great. So company's still growing. Things are going right. And I hope things are going well with you guys. God bless. So it started off a bit rough, but it looks like things are making a recovery slowly but surely. And let's talk about the stock market today. I mean, in the stock market, the stocks open up again lower this morning, making it the 3rd straight day that they kicked off in the red. And here's what the markets are trading after the bell. Like really first thing in the morning, it was kind of crazy. The S&P 500, they were down by 7 points to 3,875. Our Dow, that was down by negative 17 at 31,520. The NASDAQ, that was down by 70 and to 13,404. Crude oil, the CLF, that was at plus 79 cents. So 62 cents a barrel. And gold. Now, this is pretty interesting because gold down $17 and, currently at $17.88 per ounce. The 10-year treasury, which I look at all the time, that's the TNX, and that was by 6.6 bips to the yield at about 1.43%. So as we move forward, I just want to let you know, personally, I'm in the market, and I'm not a financial advisor. It'll be the only time I tell you that. Remember, this is just for entertainment purposes. This is me getting together with the people that are following me to really just get you guys up on what's going on in the markets and what's going on in the logistics world. So I lost 10% on my investments on Monday, another 10% on Tuesday, and came in this Wednesday looking like I was going to be losing another 10%. So I want to assure myself that we're not going for a calamity. We're not going for where the whole market loses everything. It's a nervous market right now, I will tell you that. And gold's still down. And the VIX, following the VIX will give you a good indication about where we're going. However, earlier today, the stocks reversed those early losses to trade higher as the bond yields continue to climb, as investors monitored a second day of testimony from the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell. So, when Powell talks, people are listening. What's going on? And you got to understand that Powell is not going to do what the senators want Powell to do. It's not going to happen. That's why we have an executive branch. That's why we have senators. That's why we have Congress people, right? We're trying to balance out exactly what's going on, and not everybody can manipulate the whole market and what's going on. And that's why luckily, we have a good balance between Republicans and senators right now. So that's kind of nice. His remarks on Tuesday, I listened to that whole thing. I had the day off yesterday, and it was pretty interesting listening to that whole testimony on Tuesday, and where he credited with helping major benchmarks reverse big intraday losses. So it was pretty interesting and kind of scary at the same time. In short, Powell said that he was confident we will have a robust recovery and that there are many signs of things returning to normal. Everybody wants to talk about the GDP, and we talked about this 2 weeks ago about GDP, and a couple weeks ago we also talked about the CPI and what's really normal and how we are going to go back to being who we once were, was this great dominating force in the world. We still are, don't get me wrong. America's a great America's a great country to be living in, and it's pretty interesting just to watch how things go through, especially through a pandemic that we've gone through with the whole pandemic of that virus that's going around. I've got to be careful what I say because I don't want to get put in a box. Baby doesn't like to go in a box, right? So let's take a step away from the normal and take a look at the crypto. When we talk about crypto, if you're not into crypto, right now is a great time to jump in. I jumped in last year, so it was a good time to get in, and it's still a good time to get in. I think it will continue. It was pretty nice to watch crypto go up to about $57,000 per coin. And it was terrible to watch it go from $57,000 per coin down to $48,000 per coin in 2 days. But, and I'm a hodler. So a hodler is someone that holds on to their crypto and they're not letting it go, right? So I didn't sell anything. I haven't sold anything at all. Well, I did sell some things. I sold my IDEX last week, which I'm glad I did. I sold half, and then I sold another half. That's really beneficial because you have to kind of have an eye on the market, what's going on, and what are you doing inside that market. So once again, back crypto. Let's see, the Bitcoin. Yeah, that's up above 50. I'll get into my phone in a second here. So it's bouncing back, which is good. It kind of scared me when it went down to, I think it hit as low as 44, 46. But it's not quite where it needs to be. Ethereum, also great coin to be in. It's usually trailing about a month behind Bitcoin. So with Ethereum, it also went down from $1,900 down to 1.5. It actually hit $2,000 on each. I did buy some more of that last week when I was on vacation. I got in a lot lower. Below 1,200. So that's been kind of nice to watch that. And if that goes up to where they're saying, I'm guessing around $10,000 per coin by the end of the year. And for Bitcoin, that should be at about $75,000 to $100,000 per coin. So it's interesting to watch how the markets are performing and what's going on with crypto, as well as the equities. So there's some great companies out there, and there's some IPOs coming out, some SPACs coming out. So it'll be pretty interesting. It's a lot more expensive to go straight IPO versus a SPAC, and pretty interesting. Maybe one day we'll go ahead and talk about that, the difference between IPO and an initial public offering. That's where a company files for their S1, or a foreign company files for their F1. And also going into the whole SPAC, you're basically merging with a company that's kind of going away, if you will. So it's a quicker way to market and to raise some capitals. So we're looking at a couple ways ourselves to go ahead and get into that. So as I'm learning more and more about that, I'll be sharing that information with you guys as well. A lot of cryptocurrencies, though, have been at their peak. So it's been pretty interesting. We're supposed to be having another halving in December, I believe it is. I'll get more information on that. So we're not supposed to be having a correction in the market until then. So it's pretty interesting to see all this happening now. Can't tell you why it's all happening, but I know there's some powers that be that will be moving the market, and that's going up as well as going down. A lot of the cryptocurrencies have been at the peaks, so it makes sense that there's some adjustments as we're moving forward in these corrections. So we say that last time Bitcoin skyrocketed, and it did. It really did. So let's take a look. The best thing to do is grab my phone and go through some of this. If I can, I'll push a button to get you guys on here. There it is. Good. So as we look at this, you can see right now Bitcoin, as I go ahead and open this up, you can see how it really like skyrocketed, and it was all the way up, and it just came down. I want to just point out this one point right about here. When you see the AMA, right, and where the price is going, and it crashes right through that, and it's now trading below that AMA line, it's called a golden cross. So it's usually saying, watch out, things are going to be going kind of crazy here. So you can see it did turn around as it has, and it's turned around quite nicely. So I guess I should probably come over here because we have another golden cross. So right here you can see that it was at its top about 56, 57. It was at 57. Sometimes it doesn't get the full on there. But here you can see it did cross that AMA line. And as we start crossing these, the 200-day moving average is pretty extensive when it crosses, and that's their golden cross. And that's where, you know, you really want to like watch what you're doing, either dollar cost average in, putting more money in as it's going down, and or sell, right? And I always call it, they're trying to shake us off of the line. So as we're watching this, you know, Bitcoin's at 49,703. If we go into Ethereum right now, you'll notice that's even worse. You can see the golden cross there. As that number's come down right there, we're at 1643. This is a great buying opportunity because Ethereum, it's at 1600. This is supposed to be going to about $10,000, they're saying. It's and all the research that I see, they're talking about this. You can see here, we talked about how it opened up this morning. As we put that prospectus together, it was only at, you know, what was that, -7 this morning on the S&P 500, and the Dow was down -17. So now we're at 31,976, which we're up 439, which is a nice bounce back. It really is. And a lot of the portfolios are seeing that. Let's take a look at C.H. Robinson. This is a great one to look at. If we look at the last year, and Bob, you're doing a great job over there. Great job for your first year as a CEO. But you can see here, let's just do a full year. I'm trying to remember when, Bob, you took over as the CEO over there. But you're up 50% from then. I mean, that's great. Fantastic. So things are going well for C.H. Robinson. They really, really are. 61%. So, I mean, fantastic. Right now, comparative speaking, we're up 40%. So it's down a little bit from the highs. Transportation's doing well. If we take a look at XPO for a second, Bradley Jacobs, I mean, from a year ago, you know, he's talking about, you know, up 152 from their lows in February, which is fantastic. Nice job, Bradley. One of the smartest men I know in the world. Unbelievable. And what a great company. And splitting these off, the LTL side and the asset side, or the brokerage side. However that whole thing turns out, looking forward to seeing what happens. And let's go on down here. I want to just take a look at a couple things. Algora, interesting company. If you look, let's look at over the last month. You can see here where they were. They were at $57, and now Algora, they're up 30% from where they were, but they were up like 84, 85%, 85%, and that's in less than 1 month. That's from January 29th to February 8th. So that's API. So I mean, if you're not in the stock market, you're missing out on opportunities here. You really are. You can either put your money into savings and let it sit there for a period of time and make $0, or you can go ahead and move your money from your savings and put it into a nice brokerage account where you can actually invest those monies into great companies, right? You don't have to go work at those companies to get the great things or use the companies to get the great things. Invest your money and watch things blossom. It really is. So as we move forward, one other company I just wanted to point out, Forest Road Acquisition. Here's a SPAC. So here's a great SPAC to be in. This actually, just from yesterday, they were at 13. Let's look at 1 week. So if you look here how low it went, it was at 1347. It's up 10%, 16% from just yesterday. I mean, how crazy is that? Or is that February 4th? That's February 24th. Yeah, that's 1 day. You could be making 10% on your monies. There's a whole bunch of these I want to really go through. One thing I do want to point out is here's 2 companies that are going to be going with their Virgin Galactic. They've got earnings tomorrow, and it's going to be quite interesting. I have a price target on this of $75 to $100. Virgin Galactic, they're bringing people to space. So if you go to space, they're working with the FAA where actually when you get to a certain level in space, you are considered an astronaut. So you can actually book tickets onto this ship at Virgin Galactic and actually fly out into space. Now, SpaceX is also doing this, as well as Amazon. Jeff Bezos is putting his things together along with Elon Musk, not with him, but against, I guess. But they both have these ideas of going to space. And SpaceX has already launched out into Mars, and they have a rover out there. Pretty interesting. SpaceX is also launching satellites where for $199 you can get internet and faster download and upload speeds as well. I'm seeing some comments come in. Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it. For President, oh, come on. He's got my vote. Thanks, bud. Appreciate that. Not even close. Won't ever happen. Wayfair, another earnings call for tomorrow. This company should be showing, I think the earnings are supposed to be about 56% growth compared to last year, same quarter. And I'm expecting about 100% growth and about $3.8 billion in sales in their quarter. So I got a price target on this of about $375. So you could make just over $100 on this probably in the next day or two. We'll talk about these two definitely next week. These are 2 of my holdings. I own both Space and Wayfair. Moderna, this one we've been talking about for this whole year and last year, I think. We talked about this when it was at 56, and then it shot up, and then it went down, and then it shot up, and then it went down. If you are swing trading, you could be getting in these and out of these pretty quickly and softly. So once again, all your cryptos are all up. This was all red. It was a bloodbath yesterday. I just have to tell you, kind of crazy. So I'm done with that. Hopefully I didn't bore you. If you guys like that, please leave a comment. Let me know that you guys like me going through some stocks. And if you want me to talk about how I'll bring my screener in here and I'll share that and show you how I investigate stocks and how I research their filings and what I do, similar to Becker Logistics, going through and basically coming up with a budget and forecasting on a weekly basis and budgeting on a weekly basis, and do the same stuff I do with my personal life and my business life. So So now let's take a step away from the normal and take a look at some of the other Bitcoins. There's, I don't know if I want to go back. I do. Yeah, no. I want to get into ADA, but forget about it. I'm going to go crazy, sharing all this stuff with you. So, well, I want to leave this for all of our participants that are out here. So, how do we face the downward trends? I mean, that's really important. The decisions to sell is often made with conviction. I mean, I was scared yesterday. I mean, I was, but then at the same token, you have to be in it to win it. So are you going to have conviction? It almost comes to the point is, where are you living? Are you living in a scarcity world where everything, like you don't know how you're going to make it to the next meal? Are you living paycheck to paycheck? That's a scarcity world. Or are you living in a world of abundance, right? A lot of us forget the fact that we're loved by so many people, and then we feel like we're not loved because they're not right there right now in front of us, right? When you have abundance of love in your life, and when you have abundance of cash in your life, life looks different. And it's just a mindset, right? I'm not saying that you have to be a millionaire, a billionaire to have abundance. You don't. I know a lot of people that aren't millionaires, and they have abundance in their life. The more that you have abundance, the more that you're going to have abundance in your life. It's how are you looking at things? Are you looking at a glass half full or half empty? Our brains are wired to look for a narrative. And what's your narrative that you're having right now? Are you listening to this and taking some notes and saying, hey, that's pretty interesting. I should be doing that. How do I do that? I should be asking some questions. Hit me up with some questions. So when you look at that, how are you acting upon that? And then act upon it right away, or do your research. You see, the excuses that one has for abandoning the course are plentiful. I mean, we have so many excuses for what we should not be doing or what other people shouldn't be doing, let me tell you, right? However, movements in the stock market, up or down, you're going to have those gut reactions. Don't have a single cause and cannot easily be explained by a single narrative. There's several different ways that could be going on here. So check the emotions when you're dealing with this. Market prices, they're going to go up and down. And the result from billions of shares of stock being bought or sold on a daily basis. So you have to understand, if I sell 100 shares, there has to be someone willing to buy those 100 shares for said amount. So this is going on all day long. And nowadays, it's all computers and algorithms and bots that are doing this all day long. Such volumes have millions of causes. So what are they? And I'm not smart enough, with a 5th grade education, I can't figure that out. And it's sad because the roller coaster that is feared has already been experienced. It really has. The fear that the markets will go lower is already included in today's current pricing. Waiting for that path forward to become clear means waiting for the recovery to have already happened. How are you looking at these things? Are you looking at this as positive or negative? Being within a company like Becker Logistics, I can tell you how I feel about where we're going and what's going on. I really can. It's almost like being able to predict the future. Now, putting money into a company that you don't really work at, well, you have to look at the financials. You have to look at what else is going on in the world. Are these recovery stocks, right? Like Peloton. I wanted to get to Peloton. My brain was going off like crazy. But I bought Peloton at 50 and sold it when it got up to 100 and went down to 60. I bought again, sold it when it went up to 160. Now it's down to 134. What is it at? I can't. It's one of my favorite. My wife wanted a Peloton. I bought her a Peloton, and then I went out and bought the stock. So Peloton. It's down to 123. Great buy. Great buy. And their earnings are supposed to be coming up too. And they did an acquisition as well. So right now, I mean, Peloton's a great buy. I don't own it, but it'd be a great buy. So now this does not mean you should never sell your stocks, right? Don't That's a hodler, right? And I like being as close to the door as I am to the exit. Really, like if things are getting out of hand, I want out. So I mean, there are, of course, times you should sell, but there are the right and wrong times to sell stocks. And generally, it's a bad idea to sell a stock simply because the price just went down. And I hope you didn't do that over the last 2 days. I hope you bought more. On the other hand, there are some other situations that can be perfectly valid reasons to hit the sell button. Now, there's things called paper trading, right? I mean, like paper, like this. Like I take some notes and I put notes on there. I've got these nice little notes, cheat notes that just basically help me along as I'm going through this. So if you go ahead and do paper trading, do it on an Excel document. Be like, okay, I'm buying some Peloton, I'm buying some Wayfair, I'm buying some Virgin Galactic, and I'm buying, I'm going to start with a paper trading of a $10,000 and just put it on the spreadsheet. Now every day track that. That's called paper trading. I don't think it's really worth it. I just like getting inside there and getting dirty. How do I make that happen? You need to be in it to win it. And if you're not, forget it. So let's go over a couple reasons, okay? As I go through this, I want to just point out 5 major reasons. The reasons you bought the stock no longer apply, right? So like Peloton was an at-home business. So anyone going at home and working out, I mean, I work out every day and I want to stay in shape. So, and the more I work out, the more energized I feel. So I got rid of my membership in March. I remember that, March 20th, lifetime member, Lifetime Fitness. And I've been a member since they opened here in Illinois, which is about 20 years. Got rid of it. So I saved some money there. But Peloton, went ahead, did that, and built an at-home gym for myself. The company is, number 2, the company is being acquired. So one thing about Wayfair, they're the largest, I mean the largest online retailer for furniture, at-home furnishings, anything. Yes, they're bigger than Amazon. What if they bought Amazon? What if Amazon bought Wayfair? What would happen to the stock? It would skyrocket, right? And they're doing, over $3 billion in sales a quarter, right? I mean, that's pretty nice. Number 3, you need money or you will soon need money. So, think of the stock market as an opportunity of putting money instead of buying real estate or putting your money into, don't put your money in the bank account unless you're going to spend it, right? You should either have it in real estate, equities, crypto. That's where you should have your money. Have it work for you and have a return on your investment each and every year. Last year I had a 68% return on investments. That's better than any bank would give me, absolutely. And in some cases, I went well over that. So, but if you're doing a home remodeling, which a lot of you guys are, you want to buy some new furniture, which you guys are, sell some of the stock and go ahead and enjoy it, right? Maybe take some of your profits. Maybe take all your profits and leave, or take out your initial investment and leave all your profits sitting there. That's a good way of going. But remember, you're going to have to pay taxes at the end of the year, and if it's short-term or long-term, right? Are you within that 12-month period or not? Number 4, you need to rebalance your portfolio. This is really critical, to rebalance it to make sure that you're not getting hit every single day. Not all of your stuff are going up and not all of your stuff are going down. So having a good balance with what you have going in there would really be a good understanding. It's called concentration. That's the other thing, concentration. Let's add that in there, right? So don't have one of your stocks being like 80% of your portfolio. It's going to really mess you up. So make sure that is balanced, right, as you're moving forward. And your goals are going to change. Sometimes you're going to want to like really pile it in to get a higher return. And sometimes you're going to want a less return, right? Because maybe things are getting crazy like it has been for the last 2 days. Or number 5 and last, you see a better opportunity to invest somewhere else. I sold my Peloton at 160, and then I invested, I think I bought more Ethereum. So I changed my investment strategy. Last year I only had 10% in crypto, and this year I have 20%. And by the end of the year I'll probably have 60%. And just really changing that investment strategy out. So those are times to sell, and you really want to look at this. And the influences on the market, as I said before at my last point, there are countless influences on the market. There's no way to find out the one thing, but there are trends. There's trends everywhere. And if you pay attention to these trends and other factors that can influence the market, the most basic trends are a bull and a bear market, and being able to read what a bull flag looks like or a bear flag, right? What's going on in that, or a teacup, right? A little teacup and with a handle. So when you're paying attention to this, you can see what's really going to be happening here moving forward within a few months. In contrast, a bull market is when prices are rising, typically a move of more than 20% or more in recent peaks, or the valleys triggers an official bear market or bull market. So you got to look for these triggers and what's going on, not just, buy and hold. I mean, that's what my parents did, right? And my grandparents, probably more my grandparents than my parents. My parents didn't really buy stocks. My grandparents did, though. Then, of course, you can have a bear or a bull on a more granular view as well, like a specific stock. That could happen. Then there's the entire market forces like what would there be? Like inflation. Inflation could happen. Deflation could happen. Stagflation could happen, right? There are concerns over inflation and that rising treasury yields, right? We talked about Mr. Powell. I mean, my gosh. When we're looking at the treasury yields, also weigh in on the stocks across the board this week with higher prices and increased borrowing costs for companies seen as emerging threat. The benchmark 10-year treasury yield rose to 1.4% on Wednesday morning. Counting on what that treasuries are doing and the bond market is doing, it's going to be pretty interesting. Especially, March is probably going to be a lot higher. Okay. Other than inflation, you can have things like interest rates and the GDP, unemployment, and so much more. On Thursday, it's interesting to see how that employment number is coming out every single Thursday, because it's telling us what's going on in the market, and are we following that? The key takeaway is that you have to have some understanding of these concepts before you get started and drive into the market. And what are the future holds? All right, so we took a look at some of the influences in the market, what's been going on today and this week, but how can we try to determine what is going to happen in the future? Well, it's very difficult. I mean, I don't have a magic ball over here, and a lot of people don't have magic balls. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Well, when we're trying to do that, it's very difficult to set those projections, and it's impossible to know what they are going to be doing for certain or what's going to happen, right? There's no real way of saying that. Now, there's a standard deviation that we can get into, right? And we can do predictive analysis based on trends and past histories, right? And that's kind of nice. That's what we do with our forecast, trying to forecast what's going to happen with our company. You can do that with your own book of business, or if you're a manager, what your salespeople are going to be doing and what their forecasts are going to be doing. Now we can just take that from a micro level to a macro level and really capitalize on our investments, right? But let's look what the experts have to say, right? So as we move forward, the head of global equities at Aviva Investors told not CBS, it was CNBC, Wednesday, that many of the growth stocks, those of the companies that are operating in significance and sustainable positive cash flow, had benefited from the low interest rate environment. I'm telling you, the low interest rates are really helping. But what's happening is inflation's happening with that as well. The markets, there's certain markets that have been increasing substantially with low interest rates. So if you want to sell a house, right now is the best time to sell your house. Now, with that, the last time I saw a bubble like this was in '09. So I heed caution into the wind on that as well. So as we move forward, there are a number of high growth names which had spectacular 2020 and had some great opportunities to invest in it as well. And some of them surely were based on just fundamentals, but a lot of them were the positioning based on the lower numbers that they hit. I mean, if you look back in March when the market just fell out, I was at Food Shippers, and I remember watching the economist talking about the stock market. And as he's talking about the stock market, the market was dropping, and it dropped to negative 1,000 points at Food Shippers. And if you were there and you remember that, please say something in the chat, which is unbelievable. Like, Tesla was one of such example, losing 8.5% on Monday for what its worst days since September. It was the worst day since September. And I think it was trading at like 665, I think it went down to. And leaving the stock down slightly since the turn of the year. Tesla shares are still up 162% from March 2020 low. However, and then Jeremy Granum warned the stock market bubble will likely deflate before May. He says the bubble is more impressive even than 2000. Think about that. The dot-com craze. I was there. I was trading then. It was crazy. I remember I lost a lot of money on one company. Anything that was a dot-com, it was crazy. Everybody was investing into it. And it was kind of like today. So if you remember 2000, we probably still have some time before a big crash. But who knows, right? We don't have a magic ball to tell you. Which was the champion. I mean that was great. I remember those days, and it was crazy. About 80% of the value measures have this one higher. I mean, it was crazy. This bubble that we're in right now is 80% bigger than it was in 2000. Well, we'd be pretty lucky to have this bubble last until May, and I think it will. I think it'll go past that. I really do. He also said that when the financial headlines migrate to the front page, when the evening news mentions the market or some crazy behavior of GameStop or Tesla, you know you're getting very, very warm to a bubble. As in, he is saying that a sign of an incoming bear market is nearing very, very soon. So as we go forward, I just want you to be careful with what's going on. It's not throwing a dart onto a wall and trying to hit the target. It's not. I mean, but you have to be smart with your investments. Only invest what you're willing to lose. Let me repeat that. Only invest what you're willing to lose and have a game plan. And if you're with a significant other one, make sure that you guys are communicating. And don't treat this like gambling. It's not like going to the boat or casino or something like that. Make sure that you're doing your due diligence. Invest wisely. Invest in stuff that you do know. Don't go crazy and start doing some, fintech. It might not be something that you know. Maybe it is. But, I knew going into last year that Moderna and Pfizer were working on vaccines for this pandemic that we're in. And it turned out to be a good thing. And they're doing great things. Now, the question is, are you going to get your vaccine or you're not? Because they're opening it up to other people now, regular citizens. So good luck on that. Good luck on the stock market. I hope you didn't sell. If you did, You might have lost some money, but maybe you double down. Let's see what happened. From here on out, I'll see you until next week. I want to thank you very much for your time, and stay warm. And I hope the Great South gets out of, I hope you get your water that you need. I know there's a lot of water going down there, which is great. And I hope everything is going well. God bless to you guys, and enjoy. Thank you very much for joining in and tuning in. Tune in often. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.